European B2B businesses. In this presentation, I'm going to be showing you exactly how we can install an AI SDR into your business that gets you 1 to 3 new clients every single month without you needing to hire, train, or manage anyone. Now, for some context, my name is Alex San. I'm the founder and CEO at SparkLead, and I've worked with over 50 companies in the B2B space to help them generate more qualified leads and land more clients using our AI SDR system. And in this presentation, I'm going to be covering some results that we've got on previous clients, how exactly our system works, and then hopefully by the end of this presentation, you'll be able to make an informed decision as to whether you think this would be a good fit for your business. So without further ado, let's dive in. So here are a couple of results that we've gotten our past clients. Jordan White from Carbon Box Media. We helped Jordan sign 5 new clients and add 30,000 euros in new monthly revenue within 3 months. This is just a video interview that we did with Jordan and a couple of his comments below. And then this is also a screenshot of an outbound campaign that we ran for Carbon Box Media that generated 13 positive responses, some of which converted into meetings booked and deals closed. So as you can see here, we sent out 4,860 emails and got a 10.08% positive reply rate, which is 4 to 5x the industry standard of 2 to 3%. Then we also helped Chris from Toratech sign 7 new clients and add 63,000 euros in new monthly recurring revenue within 4 months of launching campaigns. Once again, this is just a video testimonial of Chris sharing his thoughts and a couple of his comments down below. And then we also have a screenshot of 2 outbound campaigns that we ran for Toratech that generated 17 positive responses across 2 campaigns. So we sent out around 11 to 12,000 emails and got a 14% and almost 13% positive reply rate in the 2 campaigns respectively, which once again is 5 to 6x the industry standard. And then also some of these 17 positive responses translated into meetings booked and ultimately 7 new clients for Chris. Next, we have Kevin Kirchner from True Frontier. We helped Kevin add 10,000 euros in new monthly revenue in just 1 week of launching campaigns. So this is a screenshot of the metrics after the first 5 days of launching the first campaign, where we got 3 positive responses, which is also a 37.5% positive reply rate. And one of these 3 positive responses became a new paying client for Kevin, which, as you can see from his comments here, Kevin says that it more than doubled his investment with just that one client. Now, finally, we also have our UK-based B2B SaaS client that we grew from 120,000 euros to 139,000 euros in monthly revenue. And we also helped them land 6 new high-ticket clients within the span of January to June, as you can see from the graph below. And then we also have 3 screenshots of outbound campaigns that we ran for this client that generated 34 positive responses. We have a 23% positive reply rate, a 7.3%, and 9.6%, all exceeding the industry average once again, some of them by 2 to 3x and others by 5 to 10x. Now, this was just so you can get a brief idea of the kind of results that we've gotten for our clients so far, and also so you can get the idea of what to expect if we were to start working together. Now, just a couple of questions to make sure that you're in the right place. This is for you if you're a European B2B company with approximately 10 employees making at least 50,000 euros in monthly revenue, and you also need a steady pipeline of qualified leads. You have also probably spent tens of thousands hiring, training, and managing SDRs who underperform or quit within a few months of hiring them. And now you just want a system that delivers consistently without you needing to supervise people all the time. Now, if you've also invested thousands in paid advertising that produced no results, and now you need a channel that actually books qualified sales meetings with the right decision makers, then you're in the right place. If you're also ready to expand into new markets but lack the internal sales capacity to research, qualify, and contact new prospects in each market, then we can most definitely help you achieve that. If you've also tried traditional appointment setting agencies that overcharge with inflated retainers and deliver no results, and now you're looking for a reliable partner that can actually perform and deliver measurable results, then you're in the right place. And if you also see the value of using the latest technology and artificial intelligence to gain a competitive advantage in your industry, but at the same time, you don't want to lose the personal touch in your outreach. You want everything to sound personalized, but at the same time, you also want to make use of all the new technology, then we can also help you with that. And also, if you feel that the lead quality is the main constraint on your growth, and you want to start giving yourself or your sales team high quality opportunities that they can actually close confidently, then you're also in the right place. And finally, if you feel that there must be a better way to book qualified sales meetings than paying a human to manually send emails and make calls 8 hours a day, then you are absolutely right. So if you answered yes to the majority of the points that I mentioned, you are most likely in the right place. So let's get into it. The reality is that most business owners think that they need to hire several SDRs to spend hours manually contacting prospects to see results from their outreach efforts and achieve steady growth. Now, the truth, though, is that in practice, managing a whole SDR team and hiring a whole SDR team is a constant headache, and it brings about a lot of uncertainties. Now, that model, the traditional SDR model, is not just flawed because of the cost, it's the unpredictability that comes with it. And that's because when you rely on humans for outreach, you create countless problems. Will they show up to work every day? How are they feeling day to day? Are they going to call in sick? Are they following the process that you designed for them? What if they say something to a prospect that damages your brand? So, as you can see here from the pie chart, these are all the headache sources that occur when managing human SDRs. We have no shows, recruitment, brand risk, process drift, and also training. Now, as you try to scale, though, the problem is that these variables and these headaches, they multiply exponentially. Each new person that you add to your team is going to add more management time, more training, and more uncertainty. So as you can see in the graph below, as the number of SDRs increases, the management hours per week and also the cost is going to multiply exponentially. Now, the good news, though, is that in 2025, we can use AI and new sales technologies to bypass all these problems and get the same results that essentially a 10-person SDR team could get, but without all the headaches and without spending hundreds of thousands in yearly salary, training, and management expenses. So as you can see in the bar chart below, this is just an annual cost comparison of a human SDR team compared to our AI SDR system. And as you can see, implementing an AI SDR system is going to be a fraction of the cost of training, managing, and hiring a human SDR team. Now, one thing that's worth noting, though, is that AI most likely cannot replace a great sales professional in conversations with prospects. But what it can do, though, is duplicate your best performers' outreach efforts perfectly thousands of times consistently. And that's why the key is to have an experienced professional create the strategy and messaging once, and then let the AI system run it flawlessly at scale 24/7. And then this way, you know exactly what volume of outreach you'll be achieving every day. Your messaging is going to stay consistent and on brand. You're not going to be constantly hiring, training, and managing people. And finally, if you want more volume, so if the system is producing results that satisfy you and now you want to pump up the volume, all you need to do is adjust a single setting. And it's essentially like instantly duplicating your best salesperson. Now, at the time of recording this video, we are the only team that has built this perfect sales clone system specifically for European B2B companies. So using this system, we deliver predictable results without all the headaches of traditional sales teams. So by now, you might have some questions about who I am and what my background looks like. And in this next section, I just want to give you some more context on that. So back in 2021, while serving in the special forces of the Cypriot army, I became obsessed with understanding how businesses actually sign clients. These are just two photos from back when I was in the special forces. And essentially, I would spend all my free time researching the different sales and marketing strategies that companies were using, and specifically B2B companies. Now, after months of looking into this, I realized there was a huge problem. Companies were essentially throwing away crazy amounts of money on lead generation methods that simply didn't work. They were either inefficient, too time consuming, or too costly. And specifically, companies were spending 3 to 5,000 euros per month per SDR, only to see them leave after a few months, forcing them to restart the entire process of recruiting, training, and managing from scratch. And on top of that, these same companies we're typically wasting thousands on paid ads and other social media marketing channels that generated poor quality leads. And seeing that level of waste and inefficiency, it reminded me of an important lesson that I learned during my 14 months in the Special Forces. When resources are limited, you need to build systems that multiply your impact. So, in other words, when budget and headcount are limited, you need systems that can turn one person's input into 10 hours of output or into 10 people's output, even. So, this principle, though, it worked perfectly for solving the lead generation problem in the B2B space. So, after leaving the army and while finishing my accounting and finance degree, I built an AI powered outbound system that could perform better than human sales teams at a fraction of the cost. And since then, fast forward to today, I've helped over 50 companies in the B2B space across Europe generate more than 1.2 million euros in closed revenue and 4.5 million euros in sales pipeline. Now, what makes our approach, though, so unique and efficient is that our system delivers consistent results and predictable results without requiring you to hire, train, or manage a single human being. So essentially, all we need to do is set up the system, and then that can just run in the background while you focus on your core business activities. But let's get into the next section and I'll explain exactly how the AI SDR system works. So, step one is a business and ideal client analysis. So, before launching any campaigns, before reaching out to any prospects, the first step is to clearly understand your business and who your ideal clients are. Now, we start with a simple business analysis where we learn about what exactly you sell and why companies buy from you. We then identify what makes your company unique in the market and what is your offer. Finally, we look at your current clients to find patterns of success. And once we have all this information, once we have a good understanding of what your business looks like and what you sell, we then develop your ideal customer profile, also known as your ICP. So, in other words, this is the perfect company as well as the perfect person at that company that you want to target for your business. Now, unlike the term target customer, which is used to describe any company that could potentially purchase your services, your ideal customer profile is focused on the most valuable customers that are also most likely to buy. And those are the people that we want to reach out to on your behalf. So, to define your ideal customer profile, we filter on two levels. We look at company filters and people filters. In terms of the company, we like to know where these companies are located, how many employees do they have, what revenue are they making, what industry are they in, what is their specialization. So, for example, if we're targeting the real estate sector, do they specialize in commercial, residential, or any other specialization? What technologies do they use? And then finally, on the people filters, we want to know where these people are located and what is their seniority. So if you're selling marketing services to a company, let's say to the real estate sector, we want to target the marketing department within the real estate company because those people are most likely to be the decision makers for your service. So once we define your ideal client profile, which once again are the most valuable customers that we want to be reaching out to, we then need to understand the main pain points that are keeping them up at night and keeping them frustrated, the outcome that they are working towards, and what success would look like for them, what they're currently doing in terms of tools that they're implementing, internal processes in order to solve those pain points, and then finally, what are the gaps in those efforts that leave room for improvement and leave room for you to come in with your solution to position it as exactly what they need to take them from their current state to their desired state. Now, without this fundamental understanding of your business and what exactly your most valuable customers look like and where they're located, you will waste a lot of time and money targeting prospects who are never going to buy from you. And then, even if you do target the right people, you won't have a good enough understanding of their situation in order to be able to position your service as the solution they need. So, the most important thing is to know their current state, their desired state, and then to position your service as the vehicle that is going to take them from A to B. So, by focusing your outreach on the right companies and understanding your ICP, you can essentially double your results before we even start any of the technical work. So, as you can see here from the bar chart, we have a low ICP focus, a medium ICP focus, and a high ICP focus. And there is a direct correlation between how focused you are on your ICP and how well you know your ICP compared to how many qualified meetings you can book. That's why it's crucial for us to know who your ICP is and know their situation better than they know it themselves. Now, step two, once we have a good understanding of who we want to target, is finding those people. So, finding the right prospects, finding their contact details so we can reach out to them. So, now using our system, we need to build a targeted list of prospects, but not just a generic pre made email list that you can find on the internet. I mean, a list of prospects who are most likely to be interested in your services with accurate data that we know is up to date and verified. So our system checks multiple company databases to compare contact details. It adds all the relevant filters to locate those prospects, identifies signals that a company might be ready to buy, also known as intent signals, and then it also ranks prospects based on how well they match our criteria. And this step is so critical because normal data providers, they have error rates of 25 to 30%. And this means that nearly one third of your outreach could go to waste without the right steps in place. Now, our verification process, it reduces that 30% error rate to under 3%. This is going to make sure that your outreach is going to reach the right people. So once again, as you can see from the graph below, a generic data error is 30%, but with our verification process, we can reduce that to 3%. And this alone can also increase your response rates by 40 to 60% compared to standard approaches. And the reason why this is because if you're reaching out to prospects with unverified data and outdated contact details, you think that you're reaching out to them, but in reality, your emails or your outreach efforts are not really landing in their inbox. So I'll just give you an example of what the targeting process looks like if you were selling digital marketing services to the commercial real estate sector. Now, I know that you might not be selling digital marketing or you might not be targeting the commercial real estate sector, but it's just so you can get a brief idea of what the process looks like and how specific we can get. So we would target based on industry, specialization, location, company size, and management level. So the industry, for example, would be real estate. The specialization would be commercial. And the way by which we do this is by targeting certain keywords that these companies would have on their website or on social media. We then go into the location. We could go as broad as a specific continent to as narrow as a specific city or neighborhood or even postcode. So the company size then, just for the sake of this example, I set it to 11 to 100 employees. But once again, this can vary based on the types of companies that you want to be reaching out to. And finally, we have the management level, C-suite, partner, VP, director, and head of departments. Now, typically, as the size of the company that we want to target increases, we tend to move down the hierarchy when it comes to who are going to be the relevant decision makers. So to further clarify, if we were targeting small companies that have 1 to 10 employees, it's more likely that the founder would be the decision maker for marketing services. But if we were to target a 100 to 200 employee company, we would need to target the head of marketing, the marketing manager, the VP of marketing, or someone else who is more likely to be the relevant decision maker. And as you can see from the screenshot below, once we implement all these filters, we have 8,500 prospects that we can target. So this is essentially what the targeting process looks like. And we can get a lot more specific than this. We can also zoom out and target more broadly, depending on who exactly your ideal customer profile is. Now, once we have a good understanding of who your ICP is, and once we've also found those prospects and we're able to target them, the next step is personal messaging. So this is where our approach really stands out compared to traditional methods, because instead of sending generic templates that look like mass outreach from a mile away, our system creates personal messages for each prospect. And the way by which it does this is it looks at company news and recent developments in the industry. It looks at the prospects, LinkedIn activity, certain posts, or how long they've been working at their current job role, industry specific challenges, or even company specific challenges, and also their competition. Now, based on all this information, we are able to write messages that feel that they were written just for that person, even though we're going to do it at scale, reaching out to thousands or even tens of thousands of prospects. Now, the image below is a good example comparing generic mass emails with hyper-personalized emails that our AI SDR system can produce. So the generic email would say something along the lines of, "Hi, Jane, I see that you're in real estate. Would you be interested in improving your marketing?" So I think it's pretty clear that there's no personalization here. It's not tailored to this prospect's specific job role or specialization within the real estate market, but also the way at which the offer is presented, it's not specific enough saying, do you want help with your marketing? So let's compare this with our AI SDR system. Hi, Jane. I noticed you're the VP at Acme Realty Commercial in London. We help firms like yours reduce their cost per lead with pay-per-click campaigns tailored to the commercial real estate sector. Would you be open to a quick call next week? So the difference here is night and day. We're calling out the specific prospect's job title, company name, where they're located, so in London, and also the way by which we present the offer is a lot more specific. Instead of saying we can help you with marketing, we say that we can help you reduce your cost per lead with pay-per-click campaigns. And then finally, we also have a better call to action, which is, would you be open to a quick call next week? So once again, this is just a brief example of how personalized we can make the emails sound. And then as you can see from the bullet points that I mentioned previously, we could also call out specific things that are happening in the industry, specific information that is related to that prospect's LinkedIn account or their competitors. And essentially, we can make these emails look like they were written just for that prospect. Now, another important thing to mention is that our outreach includes multiple channels. So we reach out to prospects via email, LinkedIn, and also warm calling. So we initially reach out to prospects via email. And once we get a positive response, we connect with them on LinkedIn and potentially reach out to them on LinkedIn as well. And then we also call them in order to make sure that we can get the meeting booked. Now, we also have smart handling of common objections. So as time goes by, as we optimize the process and gather more data, we create a list of all the most common objections that we are receiving from your prospects. And then that way, once we receive those objections again, we have the most effective answers written out so we can respond to those prospects as efficiently as possible. And as you can see in the graph below, we are comparing the meetings booked to the number of outreach channels. So traditional agencies typically focus on a single channel. Let's just say email. Then we also have a few other agencies that focus on two channels, for example, email and LinkedIn. And then our system focuses on email, LinkedIn, and calling. And once again, there is a direct correlation between the amount of channels that you're using and the amount of qualified meetings that you can book. So that's why we are able to book that many qualified meetings and help you sign 1 to 3 new clients a month. That is because we make use of 3 different channels to make sure that we maximize our chances of getting the prospect on a call with you. Now, the difference in results between generic and personal outreach is huge. Generic campaigns, they typically see positive response rates of 1 to 2%. But if you can remember, right at the beginning of this video, when I was going through some of the results that we've got on our clients, we see positive response rates between 10% all the way to 37.5%, which is much, much higher than the industry standard. And once campaigns start, it's important to mention that our system keeps improving the messages based on what's working. We optimize the process without requiring your input, and you can then focus on your core business activities without needing to supervise this system. So step 4, once we write the emails, is making sure that we send your emails to the prospect's inbox. So a lot of people think that sending outbound emails is as simple as pressing send. Unfortunately, it's not that simple. Getting your emails delivered consistently to your prospects' inboxes at scale when we're reaching out to thousands or even tens of thousands of prospects, it requires much more work behind the scenes. We need to implement proper email authentication, sending patterns that look natural and human, monitoring of your sending reputation, and also careful warming of new domains. Now, the problem is that most traditional agencies, they focus only on messaging, building lead lists, or developing your ideal client profile, but they ignore delivery, which is probably the most important part of the process. And this results in campaigns that technically send, but they never actually reach your prospect's inbox. Now, our system maintains inbox placement rates of 98% compared to industry averages of 50 to 60%, as you can see from the graph below. And this means that even if you were to only implement our delivery setup, you would almost double your results from outreach. So even if you were to keep the same scripts or the same list of prospects, but you just changed to our infrastructure, you would see a drastic improvement in your results just because we make sure that all our emails land in the prospect's inbox. So finally, step 5 is meeting handoffs. So this is just to make sure that there is a smooth transition between your AI SDR and your sales team or yourself, whoever is taking the sales calls. Now, our system doesn't just book meetings. It gives your team everything they need to know about each prospect. Background information on the prospect, key talking points and pain points that we discovered, relevant competitive information, and also direct connection with your CRM system or with a CRM that we built for you. Now, this eliminates a very common problem, which is the disconnection between marketing and sales. So with our system, we make sure that you have all the context you need, or your sales team has all the context that they need in order to convert those meetings into paying clients. So in summary, if you are able to define your ideal clients, build targeted prospect lists, implement personal messaging across multiple channels, make sure that your emails are actually getting delivered, and also create a smooth handoff process to your sales team, you will be able to get 1 to 3 new clients per month automatically without wasting money or time on paid ads or hiring, managing, and training SDR teams, because we handle everything for you. So now you should have a pretty good understanding of what our AI SDR system works and how it differs from traditional approaches. So you have 3 options now. The first option is that you can try and build the system that I just described to you yourself. However, you will need to invest in multiple expensive tools and technologies that are going to cost you anywhere between 5 to 15,000 euros a year just to get started. You'll probably need to spend 6 to 12 months learning about outbound systems, artificial intelligence, email delivery, and outbound psychology at scale. You'll need to consistently monitor and update all your systems, and also probably hire someone internally to manage the entire process. This is your first option. The second option is you can go ahead and hire a traditional SDR or SDR team. However, you will need to spend 40 to 80,000 euros a year per SDR that you hire on salary alone, plus benefits and overhead and all the headaches. You'll need to invest 2 to 3 months training every SDR before seeing any results. And this doesn't take into account the amount of time that it takes to recruit those SDRs. You'll also deal with high turnover rates, management oversight, and ongoing training. You'll have unpredictable results depending on the performance of every single SDR that you hire. You'll also need to invest in additional leadership and training the more you scale, which is going to decrease the profitability of the entire SDR team. So this is option 2. And finally, we have option 3, which is that you can have your own AI SDR installed into your business by us and start booking qualified meetings with your ideal clients in just 14 to 20 days from today. And as you can see from the graph below, that compares your 3 options. If you go for option 1, which is the do-it-yourself build, you might start seeing qualified meetings in the next 9 months. If you go for the traditional SDR option, then it could take around 2 to 3 months after you hire that SDR. And then if you use our AI SDR system, you will start seeing qualified meetings in the next 17 days from today. And on top of that, you don't need to hire anyone. It's not going to take any time from you. Our team handles everything from setting up the infrastructure to writing the scripts, building the lead lists, and also launching the campaigns, responding to prospects, and getting them booked on your calendar. So essentially, all you need to do is hop on the call and close the deal. And once again, our system works best for European B2B companies that have approximately 10 employees and are making over 50,000 euros in monthly revenue. Also, if you're fed up of wasting thousands on paid ads, internal SDR teams, or other lead generation channels that simply do not work or are too time consuming or too costly, then this is for you. And finally, if you just want a steady stream of qualified leads without actually needing to waste time micromanaging all your outreach campaigns, then you're in the right place. We've used this process to help companies like Carbon Box Media that went from struggling to find qualified leads to signing 5 new clients and adding 30,000 euros in new revenue within 3 months. And this is once again the same screenshot of 13 positive responses and a 10% positive reply rate that we got for them. We have Toratech that went from inconsistent lead generation to signing 7 new clients and adding 63,000 euros in new monthly recurring revenue within 4 months. We have Kevin Kirchner from True Frontier that went from getting almost 0 leads to adding 10,000 euros in new revenue within just 7 days of launching the first campaign. And finally, we have our UK-based B2B SaaS company client that went from 120,000 euros a month to 139,000 euros a month in new revenue by landing 6 new high-ticket clients using our system in the span of January to June. So when you work with us, these are some of the things that you'll be getting. 1 to 3 new clients every month without training, hiring, or managing a single SDR. You'll be able to book 5 to 10 qualified meetings monthly with decision makers in your target market. You'll be able to reduce your customer acquisition costs by 40 to 60% compared to traditional SDR teams. We will also free up 15 to 20 hours per week that your team currently spends on outreach and follow up. We also make sure to protect your domain reputation with our advanced delivery systems. And you can also scale your outreach efforts without adding any headcount or management overhead or any other headaches. We also make sure to provide you with valuable market information and intelligence from all the analysis of prospect engagement that we conduct. We also eliminate the unpredictability and management headaches of human SDR teams. It also gives you the opportunity to leverage new AI technology without needing any technical expertise yourself. And finally, you'll be able to maintain full control and visibility over your pipeline with our transparent reporting system. So we make sure to always keep you in the loop. We update you every time we have a new response in any of the campaigns that we're running. We send out weekly performance reports at the end of each week, and we can also schedule bi-weekly or monthly check-in calls to analyze the results of the past month and talk about next month's strategy. So here's how to get started. Even if you're a little bit curious or interested in seeing how our AI SDR system would work for your business, just click on the button below this video to schedule a quick 30-minute call with me. In this call, we're just going to discuss your current lead generation challenges and process. We're going to explore who your ideal customer profile is or who it could be. We're going to outline how our AI SDR would approach your specific market. And finally, we're just going to identify if there actually is a potential to install the AI SDR into your business. So once again, if you are a little bit curious or interested in exploring this further, then just click on the button below this video, or right at the bottom of this website, you'll find my calendar right there, and you can once again just book a call. Now, you might be thinking by now that 1 to 3 new clients a month is a pretty big claim. So what if we don't get those results? And just to show you how confident we are in our process, we back our AI SDR with a full 100% money back guarantee if you don't get the promised results. So this means that we have no incentive to work with you unless we truly believe that we can get those results and unless we truly believe that your business is a good fit for this system. So essentially, this is a risk-free investment for you, because if you don't get the results, then you get a 100% refund. Now, a couple of frequently asked questions. How is this different from other outbound or cold email services? Now, unlike most traditional agencies that either send generic emails or use single channel outreach, our system creates personal messages for each prospect, regardless of how many thousands of emails we're sending. And we also build multi-channel sequences that copy human outreach patterns while using AI to scale. Now, what kind of results can you realistically expect? Well, most clients typically see their first meetings within the first 5 to 10 days of campaign launch. And then typically from that point onwards, you should expect to get 5 to 10 qualified meetings every single month once the system is fully optimized, usually by month 2. And with average close rates, this should translate into 1 to 3 new clients every single month. Now, what do you need to provide us in order to get started? Well, essentially, all we need is 2 to 3 hours of your time spread over the first 2 weeks, just so you can help us with ICP definition, messaging approval, and lead list approval, as well as system integration. Now, other than that, everything else is handled by our team. All you need to do is just show up to the sales calls and close the deals. Now, will this work for my specific industry? Well, so far, our AI SDR has helped companies in a variety of industries, including SaaS, tech, accounting, consulting, marketing, fintech, VC, and many more industries. So during our call, we're going to assess if your specific market is a good fit. And once again, if we don't think we can deliver, we're going to tell you upfront, because we have no incentive to work with you if we don't feel like we can deliver results. Next question is, how quickly will I see results? Well, it typically takes 14 to 20 days to set up the entire system. So you'll usually get your first meetings booked within 5 to 10 days of launch. The system fully optimizes by month 2, but many clients, and I'd say the majority of our clients, typically see great results in the first month or in the first week. Now, do I need technical knowledge to use this service? Not at all. We handle all the technical aspects of implementation, integration, and ongoing management. This is your opportunity to leverage the latest sales technologies and artificial intelligence without you needing to be tech savvy at all. So all you need to do is simply show up to the meetings that we book for you. We're going to be the ones using all the artificial intelligence and sales technologies and complex systems in order to get those meetings booked for you. And it's going to be as simple as showing up to the meetings on your end. Now, how is this better than just using ChatGPT for writing my outreach? Well, ChatGPT, Claude, and other AI tools, they can all help you draft individual messages, but our AI SDR system, it does the entire process. prospect identification, ICP definition, multi-channel sequencing, delivery management, personalization at scale, and ongoing optimization of all the campaigns and systems. So this is just the difference of having one tool like ChatGPT as opposed to having a complete managed solution that delivers quantifiable results without you actually needing to do anything. So that's the difference between using a single AI tool and having an AI SDR system implemented into your business. So one more frequently asked question that is not in this list that you might be wondering is, what is the investment? And to answer that question, the investment is completely tailored to your specific business and situation. We try to create packages that are custom depending on the volume of outreach that you want to be sending, the current situation of your business, what your objectives are. And then once we have a good understanding of your business and where you want to be, we can then create a tailored package for you. So if you are interested in exploring this further and you want to know what the investment is, then I highly suggest that you just schedule a meeting with me and then we can go over everything together. So that's essentially it. This is for European B2B companies. We will install an AI SDR into your business that gets you 1 to 3 new clients every single month. If we don't get those results, then you get a 100% refund. You don't need to manage, hire, or train anyone. So this is the end of the presentation. I hope that it was useful, and I hope that you're now able to make an informed decision about whether this would be a good fit for your company based on where you're at right now and based on where you want to be in the next 3 months, 6 months, or 12 months. Now, if you're interested, then just click on the button below this video to schedule a meeting with me. If you're not 100% convinced though, and you're still just a bit curious, then I recommend you still schedule a meeting. We can chat over all the details. If you have any other questions that I haven't addressed, then we can go over those too. And once again, I have no incentive to tell you that we can work together if I don't think this is a good fit. So I look forward to seeing you on the meeting, and I hope this presentation was helpful. Bye.